Assistance, reporting, notifications, jet streams. I'm Aaron Wyke. I'm joined by Mike Campa on our team, and we have a jam-packed webinar for you today. Almost too much to fit into one webinar, but Mike and I are going to give it a shot. As always, we are recording this, so we will be posting this to our blog in the next day or two. We'll also send out an email on Monday that contains links to things that we've talked about in this, as well as the video with it. So we'll put all that back in your hands. Today we are covering, hopefully you read our blog post announcement a couple of weeks ago, our move to AI first and kind of explaining what an MCP server is, what it allows you to do, and running through some examples of what that looks like. Just kind of a starter. We are trying to get you on your way because, as you're going to find out, what you can do from there is almost limitless. We have also released a number of updated and new features into Stratus as well recently. Completely overhauled our reporting. Very excited about that. We have launched a notification center now in the web app and mobile web app, helping you be aware of communication and other things alert worthy coming in to the product. And then jet streams as well. That was a number of months ago now, but we have not talked about it on a webinar, so we do want to make sure we touch on that. As we move along today, when you have questions, please use the question and answer, the Q&A tab on your screen to ask any questions. I will be filtering through those as Mike is going through demonstrations and things like that, and we will work to try to get all of your questions answered. So drop them in. We will try to get to those, when appropriate, and can answer as it fits into the content as well to work through them all. All right, first I want to help kind of level set why we've taken some of the steps recently that we have. Obviously, in our world, unless you're hiding under a rock, there is no doubt AI has somewhere rolled into your life, whether it's in your work life or you hear it through news cycles or the possibility of a data center being built in your community, all of these different things. But we wanted to really crystallize and help you understand why we've chosen some of the big decisions that we've made in what we're doing. The reason why we've gone with AI first and not just continuing to build, because we already have a few different AI features in the platform, but we really wanted to do something bigger. We didn't want to just bolt it onto the product. We wanted to make it of a native function. And since Contractors Cloud was already in a great position for this, we have a very meticulous database structure, which is key to this. And we already have a very robust open API. These two things have allowed us to be AI first at a time when many of other CRMs and project management tools in our marketplace, they're just not able to do that. They don't have robust enough of an API, and they just might not have their database configured in a way that can handle being able to connect so much power to it and be able to extract and work with what you want. So in the end, what we aim to do is give you full access, not just an add-on to it. Really, the premise is this allows you to stop clicking and to start asking, right? And as we'll kind of walk through, our UI is still going to be here. We're still going to continue to make improvements and always look to make that as valuable, impactful, and easy to use as possible. But as you're going to find out, and Mike's going to give you just a glimpse of what you can do when you use an AI agent to go in, you are not constricted anymore by features we have built or functionality we have built and what's available in the UI. So the easiest way to put it is that that ceiling is gone. That lid of what was the UI or what is the logic we built, you can now use AI to kind of create some of those scenarios and do it in plain English. So now you can just ask questions and have a discussion with it to ask it, what's coming up? What's past due or rotting? Tell me what the expenses this month are versus last. What are our sales this month versus last, or quarter versus quarter, and provide a chart with it. Again, it's really endless, and hopefully we're going to start to give you some ideas on how you can utilize that today. And most importantly, what all of us are after is efficiency, right? And by using this to complete things, you definitely will get large chunks of time back. As Mike and I and our team's already found, you quickly fill it with other things you can do in AI. It just makes you incredibly productive with what's there. And when we really choose to look at this, it's like when you're utilizing this, it's almost like you're getting a team behind you. You're getting expertise behind you that knows how to do things that you might not have the ability or the experience to do. You've never done those calculations. You haven't formatted a spreadsheet like that. So your ability and time stops being the bottleneck. So you can accomplish more and have this expert powered assistant on tap with you all the time. All right, hopefully, no matter what age you are in this webinar, one of the two Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factories will make sense to you, right? Like, we feel like we have created this to be the Wonkavator. And why? Because this breaks the glass ceiling. We've already referred to it that way. But, you're Charlie. Let's get in the elevator. How high you want to go up is really only controlled by what you want to put into it and what you're looking to do with it. So, congrats on getting the keys to the chocolate factory today. All right, in layman's terms, let's explain what the heck is an MCP server, right? Because this is what we built, a native MCP server to us that allows you to connect and interact with our data. If we consider an example of a restaurant, you go to a restaurant, you have your menu, you can make your selections off the menu. The chef has a bunch of ingredients related to that menu and prepares the dishes for you, and then you eat them. So other than making a few omissions, I want this pasta, but no red peppers, please, or light on the cheese, please. You're able to make some small customizations, but you're confined by what's there with the menu. What we do is drop in this MCP server that basically it gives you a waiter of unbelievable capabilities that is now communicating back to the kitchen and able to get you assemble whatever you want. Something off menu, if you just come in and say, I want something really savory but not spicy and made with mushrooms, waiter is going to go to work and make that happen for you. You lose the confinements. You get direct access to all of the ingredients, which is all of the data in your database. So if we break the restaurant down now and look at it, right, that purple layer and that green layer, like that's Contractors Cloud, along with our design and UI over the top. What the MCP server allows you to do is connect any AI assistant and then have complete control over all of this. Bypassing the UI, you are not limited by what's there a field for, a button for, a filter for, a dropdown for, and you're able to go right into our database and the application layer of the logic and start interacting with your data that you have. So it really removes everything and creates a super system for you to be able to interact. So that MCP server, you are connecting to your favorite AI tool of choice, ChatGPT, Claude, Cursor, and there's a number of others. Each tool is going to have a few different elements on how you connect. Mike will briefly touch on that. Each one, some of them you can connect right from a free plan. Some you need as simple as a $20 a month plan. Absolutely promise you, I can say once you get into it, even if you are paying for it, with the tools we're using, we're spending hundreds of dollars a month on AI tools. If I need to pay more, I would pay more. The value and the output I get is completely ridiculous. It's absolutely a true investment instead of a bill as it goes along that. So with all that, hopefully now you understand the framework. You understand why we're doing this, how big it is, how much the potential is. And we're really excited that we're leading the way in the industry with that. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Mike Campa to be able to walk us through a number of different elements and things that we're looking at.
All right. Here, let's see. Just make sure I get this framed up right. All right. See that okay there, Aaron?
Yep, you are live.
Good deal. So yeah, I think where we kind of want to start here is, wow, this sounds great, but I'm going to show some prompts and all that, but kind of like, how do I get going? How do I do it? If you go right to our webpage, right down in the bottom in the footer, there is a link for our API. In that guide or that documentation set that we have, there are some guides in there as well. And then an option to connect your AI agent. So, it's really quite a simple thing. There is a custom endpoint that you can copy and paste into Claude or ChatGPT. If you scroll down a little bit in here, you'll also see an option to just directly go into Claude's directory because we are there already. We should be in ChatGPT and some others before long, but there are instructions here to how to connect that agent. Once you are into that actual AI agent, Claude, ChatGPT, generally those things are just going to land in like your settings area. So underneath your account, underneath your settings. And then a lot of times they're going to land in what they call connectors. So you can browse and search for Contractors Cloud. You can add a custom one and paste that URL. But that would be kind of getting you to the starting point of, hey, my Contractors Cloud is now connected to my Claude. That means Claude can do things on behalf of me inside of Contractors Cloud. I think a great first thing to ask is just, hey, what tools do I have available in Contractors Cloud? The AI model will split that out and tell you, I can mess with customers and accounts. I can search and create jobs and search estimates, tasks, all kinds of different things, reports even, and search all the help doc and kind of help you point in the right direction for questions and things that you're going to have within Contractors Cloud. Beyond that, you can get into just kind of like really simple commands, right? So we can say things like, let's do something like this here, give me the rundown on this particular job. So I can run that command. It's going to fire up what tools it needs to within that has access to search our projects and find all of the project information. And before too long, it should give me a kind of a general, understanding of the historical context and what's going on within this project. So here it comes. So it's an insurance workflow. It's in this milestone. It's got sold for this amount, contract timelines, anything, what's the current blocker, right? The COC milestone is still failing. There's some open jet streams and tasks, things that need to be done. Something of a, kind of a note, hey, this looks kind of weird. There's a really small estimate in there. And then the bottom line, right? Job is essentially wrapped up. Paperwork, photo, we kind of need to be in that get this thing done phase. So, the AI models can very easily read one project, multiple projects, give you comparisons, but then you can take it a step further and you can actually do things with it. So if I wanted to say, okay, I'm out and about and it reads that to me and I just kind of say, okay, well, can you create a task for John to upload the final COC, make it due tomorrow, create a jet stream to Rebecca and to John Smith to finalize the invoice, send it out. Let me know if they have any questions. So I can go ahead and, throw that in there, and AI may prompt you on some things, right? If it's maybe you have a user conflict that there's more than one Rebecca in your organization or something along those lines, the AI model may prompt you back to say, hey, I don't want to do this without doing it wrong. But let's see here. There it is. So both set up on the light field job, task assigned, a jet stream sent. So if I were to look in that project here inside of Contractors Cloud, we've got a task assigned there to upload final certificate. If I open that, it's gonna, give me some additional context, marked it high priority. And now I can just kind of move on with my day. On the Jetstream side of things, here's a Jetstream that went out, finalize and send the invoice, some details on it. That's going to go to John and Rebecca. So just, simple commands that allow you to do things while you're on the fly. If you're sitting in front of your computer, maybe you open up and just fire off a Jetstream there. But if you're out on the, out on the road or you're just walking and talking, don't want to get in the platform, there's all kinds of great stuff that you can do just by asking it to do it. A third one even would be like a project creation. So let's say, I've got my phone out and I'm on site somewhere of an existing project. A neighbor walks over, wants me to go take a look at their place. I can do something like, you know, hey, can you create me a project for this address that I'm staying at? Homeowner's name is Landry Wilson. So it'll, again, use available tools. Um, it will try to create the project no matter what, if there's nothing preventing it, or it might, say, hey, you've got multiple companies or you don't have a default, right? So this is going to say something like, hey, which company should this be for? Okay, I want it under Mountain View. Um, it might say, do you want phone numbers or anything like that, if you require those within that company. So um, project has been created without any hangups. If I wanted to make sure that we get, phone number, email, I can set those in our company defaults. But if I just look at our project board here, we should then see, you know, a brand new leader opportunity created in Contractors Cloud. So, those are kind of like the simple, just like a couple of simple commands that we can perform. Uh, the AI models can read data. The AI models can, they can make those actions for you and on your behalf. And then we can kind of run into like a few more advanced commands, which ones that I just kind of have preset up. So, thinking bigger picture, right? Thinking of problems. I'm a sales manager, and I know that a big problem of ours is that we get our job stuck in estimate proposal stage and they don't get moved along fast enough, right? Well, here's a prompt. Can you give me a list of all the projects in both Mountain View Exteriors and sample contracting that have been in the estimate stage for more than 30 days? AI model looks it up. It says 12 projects sitting there, 6 of them in Mountain View, 6 of them in sample, a little bit of context, a little bit of some stuff that's worth flagging. A couple of these jobs have real money associated with them. Um, okay, great. Now can you place a task in all of those for the primary rep to get on these? I want them to move forward or get them canceled. Make it due tomorrow at 5 p.m. It's going to do what it can. It prompted me back, hey, a couple of those jobs don't even have a rep on them. Assign it to me. That's fine. Do you want a high priority or not? Yes. Boom. All 12 tasks get thrown in. So if you're thinking of, hey, we got hit with some weather, in the last day in this zip code, and I just want to pull all these jobs that we've done stuff in the past on. I want a task to go into every rep to follow up with that homeowner, just see if they have any new damage from the storm that hit last night. But now here's, a bunch of jobs or tasks that went out to get this thing moving or gone. So it's got some individual context of this has been sitting in here for roughly this long. There's no TBD, either sign the rep, move it forward, or get it canceled, that kind of stuff. A secondary option or a secondary problem that you might have is something like, hey, we work our jobs through workflows through 15 or 20 different steps in every workflow, and I don't really know where do we sit and lag the longest, in what stages take us the longest, where are we winning, where can we clean that up? So for that one, we kind of get into the cool piece of the MCP server. The really more in-depth piece is that it can either read or create reports for you. So I created a report inside of Stratus that would just pull every milestone that's ever been completed. And the prompt to the AI model is pull that report, analyze it. I want to know which milestones have performed the best and where we're spending the most time in. It pulls all of that data, gives me the short version of assigned lead, best performers are this, worst performers are that. And then when we look, it actually gave me like an HTML file. So if I wanted to just look, it produced me a full, a full report based off of one prompt to know where am I, where are we winning, where are we getting stale? How many instances of closed milestone, total days of the ones that are closed, 70% of them are being closed in the same day, and 82% of our milestones share that assigned lead, right? A dev database account that isn't being actively worked kind of makes sense with the data. But we can, it can provide you insight, can give you charts of where did our time go here? What's our average versus median days? When we look at those closed milestones, 70% of them are being completed within a day. 10% of them are 1 to 7, and so on and so forth. And then a full breakdown of every single milestone that you have within your company. Average days, median, longest, percent of time, and which ones are being percent same day. So that's all created off of one prompt reading one report that's already available inside of Contractors Cloud.
And Mike,
If we want, yeah, go ahead.
I just was going to call out the one thing if you pop that back up real quick.
Yeah,
Um, this is one element that I have really liked anytime that I'm uploading spreadsheets, crunching data, and looking for answers within it. You see that, what the data says section. So it's not only presenting the data within it, but it's interpreting and it is calling out those insights that are there, areas to pay attention to. Hey, here's a number that's, way off base or seems outside of the norm as a call out. So that just some really great value adds that the AI model is inputting into that past just structuring and presenting data to you, which is super valuable. And two quick questions that were asked while you were going through this, Mike, and then we can move on to your
yeah,
next example. Jacob
sure.
asked if there's permissions that we can have set up. For example, if we only want folks internally to be able to read existing records and things like that. So the user, when they sign in, it's following that user's permissions. So however you've set up those user permissions within Contractors Cloud, that is being followed. So you have that same reassurance, that same security, those same permission levels as what that user has when they're using Contractors Cloud signed in and through our UI as what they're doing through the agent. And then Joan asked if each user needs to connect their own AI model account. And the answer is yes to that. You need to have your own AI assistant through Claude. We had someone ask about Grok. Yes, Grok. Any of the main AI agents are going to have the ability to connect to an MCP server. It is kind of the universal connector, the USB of ports for AI tools right now. So thanks, Joan and Jacob, for those
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, you kind of brought up another thing that I was going to mention on the last example too, is one of the things that I've found that I love about using an AI model is in that stale estimates, for example. AI is always going to try to help you to solve the problem and maybe help you take it a step further than you were thinking you would, right? So in this case, I was thinking in a one-off setting of like, I want to see what's sitting there rotting that we need to move, cancel, or get moving forward. But the last prompt it gave me is, do we want to set up a recurring scheduled task that reruns this report every week, flags anything new that crosses 30 days, and gives that person a task? So now I've created something that is hands off, that I don't even have to worry about or do anymore. It becomes a scheduled tool within my AI platform. And I now have something along the lines of like recurring reminders. We're tracking new things that are hitting that kind of rotted state, and those tasks are going to get fired out every single week based off of just a scheduled tool to go along with it.
Yeah. If
Um,
you're a basketball fan like Mike and I, it's the ultimate and one. You scored,
yeah,
you got fouled, you go to the free throw line and you're making that free throw. So now instead of just a bucket, you're getting a 3-point play or a 4-point play. So great call out on that, Mike.
yeah. So if we kind of had two of the advanced examples being, hey, these things are rotting, help me do a bulk action. We've got, hey, pull this report for me and analyze it for me. That's great. But something that the AI model can really do is it can kind of go to a level that, it can create reports inside of Contractors Cloud for you. It can modify reports for you. It can do all kinds of different things. to do something like create me an entirely new business dashboard, right? So this is a longer prompt, but I said, I want a living, breathing dashboard based on my contractor's account data for Mountain View. Things I want to see: sales total, sales by month, expenses by year, by month, AR, um, my in progress, profitability, projections. Um, I want the command center to see the grand scope of my business in one place. Now, some of this data won't be great. Again, dev environment that isn't being actively worked like an exterior company. But it prompted me a few times along the way, right? Hey, what should we count as in progress? What would we make a job rotting to you? So it's going to kind of give you some of those questions where you can help provide additional context. But it's all about just kind of what is your overall problem? What is your goal that you're trying to ask it? And now it ran through a whole dashboard. I made it brand it, our way. And so that ended up being something like this that's provided, right? So this is all Contractors Cloud data, cards at the top, what's been sold year to date, expenses year to date, what's your margin, kind of like what Aaron pointed out, right? Hey, this is suspiciously wide. See your notes for that. Not this open AR, and 95% of it is 90 plus days old. And a bunch of, rotting jobs with a high value of, stalled sold value. Month to month, what are we selling versus what are our expenses? AR, what's sitting out there? What are expenses that have been approved and are ready to be paid within Contractors Cloud? What's our open receivables with our highest balance remaining first? Who are my winners and performers on the sales side of things? Where are my stalled open jobs? What are my jobs in progress with build, forecasted, expense forecasts, forecasted profit margin, and all of that, again, with additional context down below. So, we've had over years questions about dashboard, about widgets, about this, that, the other. Almost all of those things realistically are a report, and your AI model can now create reports directly inside of Contractors Cloud that have access to all your Contractors Cloud data. It is a prompt away from saying, hey, this is my dashboard that I want to, scope out and make sure that the important things for me are showing up right in front of my face. And it's as simple as a prompt to an AI model, and then, hey, do we want to schedule this to run? So this runs every day at 6 a.m. and would update with any new information along the way. So those are kind of just some, quick examples from kind of the simplest of simple, reading a project, all the way to like, hey, I can use this to create a command center, right, within my Contractors Cloud. And really, it's just about what are you asking it? What problems are you trying to solve? And it's going to have access to help you achieve those goals and solve those problems in a way that we just haven't even had before. So it's pretty exciting and pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, great, Mike. Thanks for sharing those examples.
Yeah.
Just a couple of different takeaways that I would put out there where, people are really looking at, okay, where do I start with this? Starting with just a conversation with an AI agent is a great place to start as you're thinking through problems and asking, how do I solve this? How can I look at this? Um, don't view it as I have to have this perfect command that I'm telling it, and that's the only way to go. Have a conversation. Consider this to be an expert that you're working with, and that might help you arrive at the prompt that you ask when you're ultimately trying to do that, right? So if you're talking to them and say, like, I'm trying to understand how much money that we have sitting out there right now in projects that are ongoing. Can you help me figure out how to pull together a report that's doing this? So start with the problems that you know that I'm trying to solve. I would love to find a way to do this. That's an easy way on some of the reporting things. You don't have to know exactly what's to put out there. And some of the other things, when you look at our documentation, we shared that link in the chat, you can easily go through and be like, okay, how can I do things like Mike showed of how do I create a task? How do I send a jet stream? How do I do both of those in one? How do I create a new project with this information? And it's a conversation and dialogue where your AI assistant will also ask you for things that are needed or missing, or what else you might want to add to it, or even possibly a next step that you might want to take. So all extremely valuable with it. All right. Jumping back to me. All right, so with that, and I should also say we are going to have a lot more coming on AI content. So we're in the works on figuring out some ways where we can share with you what some of our other customers are doing with AI, possibly having them on like a webinar to share some of the things that they're getting traction with or getting value out of. Small snippets of what we continue to introduce can be done with the MCP and things like that. So we will be reaching out. Stay tuned for that. This is by no means the only blurb you're going to hear on this. We are going to be delivering a lot more either through the blog or webinars on what the possibilities are, and trying to just provide some thought leadership, some guidance, and just collaboration, right? It's a wide open space and there's a lot to do and figure out. So jumping to next, a smaller but a very valuable feature is we have added notifications into the desktop web view and the mobile web view. So in the upper right corner, you will have noticed a bell if you're already a Stratus user. And within that, we are bringing you things of notifications that you're going to want to understand have taken place, right? So this is going to give you real-time updates for new project emails, jet streams, and tasks with it. And you are going to be able to click on those notifications and it will take you right to that info that that notification is representing. You also have controls as they come in. If you click on it, it's automatically going to mark it unread. That purple dot is going to go away. And then you have the ability, you can mark it read again. You can reintroduce that purple dot and up your notification count again if it's something you need to come back to. You can delete individual notifications. In the lower left, you see there's a delete all within the notification tray. You can mark all of them as read. You can mark each individual one as read as well. So a full set of controls for each of these notifications. Simple, straightforward, much like other pieces of software that you probably use. But now calling your attention to these things that we easily identified are communication loops or tasks and follow-ups that have a significant timing element to them, and we want to raise those to the top and bring them to your attention. All right, next, reporting. Super excited with this. This was a very big cycle in thinking about this and rebuilding it and what to include and all of those elements that go along with it. One thing is we're already making where it used to be, one page with everything dumped into it. Now, when you hover over reports in the navigation in Stratus, you're going to see each individual category of sales and marketing, financial, user, production, and project management called out. You can switch between those pages or between the tabs once you're in the reporting section, and that's where those reports will be grouped. Just as always, we have our reports that are ready for you to use that have already been built and are just part of the Contractors Cloud system. But a massive bonus is we've now allowed you to create your own custom reports as well. So some of our why, some of our strategy behind in creating this. So one, we wanted to move things past just data and into answers. So, in the past, you would download that, and if you wanted to make calculations to get sums or averages and things like that, you had to then do that in a spreadsheet and run those functions and run those totals and averages. Now we are introducing ways that you're already able to do that. So instead of just looking at the data, we're hoping to start providing some of those initial answers right in the interface when you're looking at that report or running it. So part of that, is, as I mentioned, is we're introducing both KPI cards and column aggregations. So columns that are numerical or dollar-based, you'll be able to go to the bottom and ask it to total it up. What's the minimum? What's the maximum? What's the average of it? So that three-dot kebab menu that's on the right side of those gray boxes there, that's from your total row down at the bottom, and you're able to grab those and ask it to calculate those. Then you can go back up to the top and those KPI cards, key performance indicator cards, you can determine which of those, so there's up to 3 of those at the top that you feel are most important. You can say, okay, grab the total sold from the bottom and bring that up to the top. So I don't have to scroll all the way down to the bottom if there's 50, 100, 300 rows that are on there. Grab me the average of what's been sold for this report and bring it up to that KPI card. So we're all about trying to deliver you faster answers, working in fewer spreadsheets and less work. And really, when you combine what you see is offered in a reporting now, along with what you can do with the AI assistant, it really puts reporting on an unparalleled level. And then we also wanted to make reporting run by itself for you. So now you can schedule reports. You can schedule reports for the reports that are already in our system. Mike's going to give us a walkthrough of creating a custom report. You can schedule that custom report. This is a massive addition to the platform because now instead of you having to initiate it, you can make it so this report runs automatically on a daily cycle, a weekly cycle, a monthly or a quarterly, what time of the day it's going to be delivered. How is it delivered? Is it sent to you in a CSV ready, spreadsheet ready, or is it in JSON so you can plug it into another reporting tool or an AI assistant with what's there? You're able to see when you're in that report how many scheduled reports are created for it, and you can add as many recipients as you want to it. So you can add all of your team members, you can add just 1 or 2, you can add a specific team to it. And then there's a small sample. When that email shows up, it tells you, hey, this is the report. It's running every day at 4 p.m. And now I can download that CSV. And that scheduled report data is available to you for 7 days out of that email. Otherwise, it'll be available in the report exports for you. So this helps give you that consistent visibility, and you don't have to put in that same effort over and over again or give yourself a calendar reminder. It's going to show, we're going to run the report for you just as you've asked, and it's going to show up in your email inbox. And lastly, we wanted to be shaped around how you work. So being able to drag and drop, what are the order that the columns are in when you're in it, right? We've always had the ability to add and remove columns. We've made that a little easier now where you can just jump right into the spreadsheet, and each column you can choose, hey, I want to add a column right next to this one, or I want to remove this column. So at the top of the column head, the kebab menu will allow you to add or remove that column. So this allows you to, again, to further customize how do you want to see the data, how do you want it sorted, all about less friction. And instead of feeling like you're forced into a report, how do you make it your own? How do you help bend it so you can fit what you're looking to solve with it? And the last part that Mike's going to dive through in a real world example is custom. This is a massive addition. You create your report. There's 27 different entities. What am I reporting on? Is it an expense? Is it a project? Is it a user? Whatever that might be. We then have AI built into this. So you can go and write a prompt for here's what I want this report to do. And the AI will help go through and pick, hey, here's the columns that we recommend if this is what you're looking to understand or get out of that report. You don't have to use the AI tool. We also have example prompts already built for you. So you can pull that in. So a number of options to either create it straight from all columns that are available for that entity, that type of report. Or if you know what specifically you want to get into, you can use the AI tool and it can generate for you what that looks like. So a custom report, if you can describe it, you can build it. Core 27 entities, AI assisted. And again, now you can share this with exactly who on your team needs it and schedule it for a report to run as well. All right, with that, I will let Mike take over and jump in.
All right. So yeah, in our reports area now, it's been broken into these different categories that we have as base categories, and in each of those categories, we've seeded some kind of default template reports. They're kind of in there as a placeholder, an idea, a generic default report. Whenever you run a first one, it'll finally give you the ability to favorite that one. It'll let you know what the entity is that's being reported on there with that little invoice pill. And then anything that's been created altered, created and saved as its own thing, you'd also see a custom tag on there. So in order to create a new report, you can do it in any of the any of the categories that you want to. We can create a new report. We've got all those entities to choose from. So in this example, maybe I'm just going to do, we'll do an invoice one. We'll call this our Mountain View AR aging. And I'm going to do something like, a prompt, that's basically, hey, for the company Mountain View, I want all the invoices in AR, the invoice amount, paid, remaining balance, and I want to see the aging metrics as well. So we can generate that with AI. It's going to, cycle through it, map out what columns, what companies, what filterings need to happen. Once it kind of gets done with that, it'll give you a bit of a preview of what's been, what it's planning on doing. And then we can move on to the next piece. This can be private, it can be shared with others. So maybe I'll share this one with a specific user because it's more of a sensitive one that maybe only Aaron and I need to know about and keep track of. And then I can go ahead and create that report. So that's going to give us, when I look at filtering, company Mountain View, invoices only in AR, and that's going to give us, our baseline, right? So any of the columns that have financial data in them, I can scroll down to the bottom there and I can see, okay, do I want, the max? Do I want the total sum of all that's sitting in there? For the aging, may have some additional options as well, but for now there's some sums, so we can sum up any of the aging in there. And if this truly is your AR aging, maybe we want to utilize, a card to kind of capture what do we have in those aging ranges, right? So now that we have numerical data down at the bottom, we can start revealing card headings that we want to be first and foremost with what we see when we log into these and check these reports. So I could look at, what is the highest one that we have remaining for needing to be collected. I could see, I want to know what we have aging between 1 and 30. Maybe between 1 and 30 is stuff that we don't really get too worked up about. So I want to know more like 31 to 60, 61 to 90. And now I have these running totals anytime that I pull this report. Kind of like Aaron was saying, if we wanted to adjust or add columns or remove columns, I can add that in. We could say, if I want to actually know the contract date of these too. So invoice number, maybe I want the contract date here. No, actually I want it at the start, so it'll rearrange it. And now I can see the contract date to go along with that. When we get into downloading or exporting, so we'll kind of talk about like the schedule, you still can create an export or a download manually. So let's say I schedule this report every week to come to me, but it's middle of the week. It's been kind of a busier week. It's been a little bit crazier. We know we've been receiving payments, things of that nature. We can always create an export at any given time and get a snapshot of that report right now, be able to download that, keep that CSV. And what this helps do is give you timeline and give you historical data. Whether you want to analyze it or you want to let an AI model analyze it, we now are creating kind of snapshots or moments in time for what is historically kind of a rolling report, right? AR is kind of a rolling, what is in AR right now? What's the balance? As it gets paid, it's going to leave this report. So creating those schedules or those snapshots is a way for us to, leverage AI or ourselves to analyze that on a week-to-week basis, or any of the reports over time to say, analyze this every week and give it, compare it to the week prior every single week. Beyond that, then we can definitely go in and we can schedule those. So if I had this report set up the way that I want it, I can go ahead and I can schedule that. I'm going to say I want this to go to myself. I want it to go to Aaron. I want it to go every week. And I want that to be Friday at 5 p.m. And we'll do it in a CSV format.
We're
So
supposed to be
that's
getting
CS.
done at 5 p.m. on Friday, Mike. I don't
Yeah,
want you
well,
sending me work at.
oh, you're right. Maybe I'll just edit that and take me off of it then. So just you can have it at Friday
Thanks.
at 5.
Appreciate
There.
it.
Perfect. Um, so the KPI is the ability to, min, max, average, sum, kind of see those things right in front of you, rearrange columns and orders so that you get it to how you want it to look and feel. That's a big deal for pulling reports, but also for if you're going to set up models to look at them and you know and from another standpoint of just like the AI models and things, that can create a report for you. So the dashboard, that I created in the AI section of the webinar, that was that AI model just coming in and basically doing what I just did, which is creating a ton of different reports and then pinning them all together and, creating creating a new dashboard of it. Um, when we look back at the section, so now I see that this is a shared report. I see that it's a custom report. I see that it's a scheduled report. And then I can go ahead and I can favorite that too, so that I make sure that it's, front and center, um, right in front when I'm looking at that financial section. Um,
One item to note
yeah,
on those chips, right? The invoice, the custom, the shared. If a report has been shared with you, it will tell you shared by, and it'll give the initials of the user. And then when you are inside that report, if you mouse over that chip that says shared by MK, when I mouse over it, it'll give you the full name of that user. So in this case, since Mike shared it, it just says that it's shared. That means that he's the one that initiated the sharing. So you're even going to know who created that report and shared it with you, as well as then who is sending it or delivering it to you on an interval as well. So a number of helpful things that are just visual cues on, is this report that's already in Contractors Cloud? Is it custom? Um, what is it based around? Was it shared? Who is it shared by? And then the clock icon means that there is a schedule set for that report to be delivered.
yeah. And another thing to keep in mind is that these are all still permissions based off of your permissions inside of Contractors Cloud. So if I wanted to try to create an AR report, but I don't have permission to view financials, it's gonna, give me a bunch of blank data. I won't see anything. So there's all those permission safeguards are still at play. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of the rundown of reporting, using the AI to either create or read or run these reports. I have one quick, so Kelly shared with me a little side note of just an AI, like a real world AI example from yesterday. In their company, they have a requirement of 25 pictures needed. So their sales manager pulled a report or asked Claude, "Hey, give me, all the jobs that don't have the 25 photo um, requirement in them." Pulled him a list so that he can, follow up and make sure that that they're handling and making the internal processes that they've set and the the qualifications that they need to keep those jobs moving forward. So just kind of a real world example there from Kelly. So thank you for that, Kelly.
A couple of questions that came in, Mike. Jacob asked if we can use our AI agent connection to have it create these reports too, right? As opposed to going through the reports UI.
Yep, absolutely. So in the dashboard example, for my dashboard that I created, that is all creating creating artifacts and creating reports inside of Contractors Cloud for me. So part of the tools that are available is the ability to just create a new report. It will ask you generally if you want to delete it right away after you create it so that you don't end up with maybe, 50 hundreds of reports that are sitting in there. But you can always choose to save it or delete it after it's been created by the AI model. Yeah.
Cool. And then Janelle has a very detailed use case specific question to her. I don't know if we'll be able to get you an exact answer on this, Janelle, but we can follow up. If nothing else, we will log this to look at it. But she asked if there's a point where Boolean operators could be used to narrow focus in reporting. Her example is they have about 20 different types of appointments that can be made on their calendar, and weekly they want to know three of those appointment types, how many of those were scheduled. So currently she's only able to see like one type of appointment or all types of appointments, but nothing in between. And I'm kind of leaning like I would want to connect an AI assistant and try to dive into that that way, because that's not limited by, being able to filter specifically through what's available in the filter on appointment types. But I don't know, Mike, if just off first draw hearing that, there's anything that makes sense to you, or we should just note it as a follow-up or discussion.
Yeah, I think we can note that as a follow-up. I would think off the top of my head, appointment reporting with filtering to all the different types per week could work, or an AI model to pull, yeah, all of our appointments that were these three types, that I want to know from this week. Even that in that scenario, you could even then compare it to percentage of all appointments if you wanted to know that, right? So if I want to know
Yep.
these three appointment types, a sales appointment, an inspection appointment, and a follow-up appointment. I want the what we're all scheduled for those three types this week, and then compare that to all appointments set for this week, and what's the percentage of those. That'd be something that an AI model would potentially be a great fit for.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you to both of you for those questions. All right, I just have a few slides left. Okay. We are going to finish things off with Jetstreams. Jetstreams got quite a major upgrade here earlier this year in Stratus. And we absolutely want to make sure that you know about this since it's such a vital communication tool internally, inside the project, helpful with being able to both send messaging and create tasks at the same time with it. So, when we reimagine JetStream, as you can see from kind of the overall layout of it, we really kind of combined with both a text messaging and then a business messaging like Slack or Teams type of environment to it. So, latest messages at the top, everything is chronological order driven, being very clear, threaded conversations, the initial jet stream and additional replies, small cues like you can see who's typing. So now you don't have messages flying by each other in the night. You can wait for the other person to finish typing for what's there. When you type in the message, we automatically kind of create the topic it's about using AI with it. You can still manually change it if you want, but we're saving you keystrokes of having to kind of enter the subject or the topic of what it's about with ease with it. Just a number of different elements. Really, we ended up with like 9 or 10 improvements overall. Our approach to it, right, is it's now real time. So you have to refresh jet streams in Classic and prior in order to see the updates. Now they're automatically pushed in. You don't need to refresh anything. If you have the screen up, you're going to be seeing the latest messages, replies, notifications, everything else that's coming in. Obviously, this is also tied into the notification center. So if you're elsewhere in the app, you are now knowing that new Jetstream message has come in. It is now structured. It's instead of like when the initial one was, you're always going to see what one has the latest reply on it. So it's going to give you that nice structured view. Making it as visual as possible. You have the preview that you can see, and then you have the total conversation that you can dive into on the right. So again, just like that business messaging or a text tool where you have the preview and then you tap into it. Our old version, you would have to scroll through, the conversations were housed entirely. So a much more visual read to easily go through. And lastly, we built it for action, not just discussion, right? How do you easily take a reply, engage on it, create a task, assign it to someone, all of those different elements. We posted on this a few months back, so you can go to that post on our blog that kind of lists out all of the specific things that were upgraded. Hopefully, you've already engaged and are using that in Stratus. If you haven't, you definitely want to check that out because it was quite a major upgrade, turning something that's already extremely valuable and really just supercharging it. All right. With that, I don't seem to have any further questions right now. Um, what are we working on next? So, right now we're working on payments through our provider basis, being able to bring that in to both the project portal for customers to be able to make payments that way, as well as overall. That is very closely nearing the finish line. So be on the lookout for communication from us coming soon on that. We have been hard at work at supplier integrations. So we are working with a number of them. We will kind of be introducing them one by one. This is a very big ask, and we are really excited to be getting closer to rolling that out. We have also started on a refresh of tasks, making the task screen much more visual and easy to see, what's overdue, what are my tasks, where are things at, and everything else. So really excited. Same kind of processes like what Jetstreams went through, what reports went through. How can we 10x the value, make it action driven, make it more visual and easier to use? And lastly, one that we're very excited about is proposals. So we are doing a major overhaul to estimating and proposals and giving you tools to be able to customize, to work in a lot more options into your proposals for upsells and choices that the customer can make and how you can present it and things like that. So a very big list, but hopefully, as you've just seen, what we have been able to release this summer was quite a big list as well. We are moving fast and creating and distributing a lot of great things. We've been having a lot of great one-on-one conversations with customers regarding the impact of them and what they're utilizing. We know some of you are in busy season. It's harder to adopt new features. So we're really excited as things start to wind down, and especially as you start to make the look for those of you that are still on Classic, finally making the move over to Stratus. It is just overwhelming the amount of features, automations, powers, and capabilities that are waiting for you in Stratus if you haven't made that move yet. All right, one last reminder. This is recorded. We will work over the next day or two, Friday at the latest, to have this up to our YouTube channel and as well to our blog. And again, we will send, if you forget all about that, we will be sending out an email Monday that has the recap of everything that we've covered and the recording here today. So with that, Mike, any final parting words of advice or anything to share with our attendees today?
Not much other than I'd encourage you to connect your agents and just start asking questions. That's really the start of it all. So
Yep, I'm with you. Yeah, you definitely have to start somewhere. Don't be afraid to start. As I said it before in there, and that'll be my parting takeaway is once you get started, you will stair step so fast your level on understanding what to do and what it can do and what to look for and the questions to ask and how to have a conversation with it. But just start. The AI is not judging you. It is not going to turn around and tell you that's a stupid question. If anything, I've found it's flattering. It's going to encourage you to ask questions and have that dialogue. And it's going to ask questions back at you. It really is just like having an expert on hand. So don't be afraid. Take that step and make it happen. Appreciate all the kind words from those of you in the chat. Lisa, Jacob, Steve, very happy to provide it. You are very welcome. Again, we'll get the recording posted and stay tuned for more information on more webinars and more sharing time regarding AI coming down the pipe with us. So take care. Have a great rest of the week, everyone. Thanks, Mike, for all of your knowledge and everything you ran through today, and have a fabulous weekend.
you bet. Thanks, everyone.